Hi, in this video I'm going to be discussing, can you make money from selling tops and buying the bottoms? I'm going to break this down a little bit because a lot of traders that come along, and I've had some people coming in on a trial period in my day trading room recently, and we had a lot of people wanting to sell when the market was pushing up and buy when it was going down. So that it's a sort of a natural thing in there, because you get taught sell high, buy low. It's probably ingrained in all of us to a degree, because we don't really want to be buying when it's already high, and we don't want to be selling when it's low. We want to be on the right side of the market. But what is the right side of the market? Should we be selling at the top of the market, or what is a perceived top at the market? The answer, well, it comes out as we run through this video. Firstly, there was an occasion this week when one of my regular traders, who is pretty good at spotting trades and wasn't wrong in terms of his ideas behind the background of this trade, it's just a case of timing, and it's something we can all improve on, is timing of entering trades. The long and short of it is, you can make money near the tops and you can make money near the bottoms. Very few people actually make decent money from identifying top, because they're very unsuccessful in finding the tops, and they're pretty unsuccessful in finding the actual bottoms, because the market moves on and moves on at times. There's more momentum in it, even though the background, that if they've taken the stance of actually understanding what the background is fundamentally, and of course sentiment wise, from looking at what the bigger traders are doing. The analysis that went behind this was pretty good in terms of the Australian dollar at the moment. The sentiment's not particularly good fundamentally. The central bank is looking, they've seen numbers coming through, the inflation rates are coming down somewhat. They've not needed to increase rates quite as much as other countries, so the interest rate that's sitting there at the moment isn't necessarily the highest, and some of the economic prospects aren't great, although they might be improving with China sort of switching on things a little bit more. However, the other thing there, as I said, is the sentiment. You look at what the big traders are doing. They've been selling futures in the Australian dollar. So basically it's bearish on the fundamental, bearish from the commitment of traders, neither of which are absolute timing tools. And the market and how people want to react are only shown on the charts itself. So you've got to follow the charts. That's the timing tool. It's just about getting the right timing. Looking at the current chart of the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, the yen economy, where there's questions about that as well. The sentiment is sort of balances it a little bit better. There's been more buying in the yen than there has been selling. So as a balance, maybe the Australian dollar is weaker. And I'll give you one other factor that the trader was looking at, which was good, was the dailies. So if we come here and look at the dailies, there we go. So the dailies were pretty much running down, and what we got here is a decent bear flag. So the majority of the analysis was pretty good. Is it going to roll over? Well, it wasn't at the time, and it, for me, that my first question is, when the message came through on the system on around about 10 or 11 o'clock at night, was is this ready to sell? My first question is, what's the market doing at that stage? What is the market doing here? And the question came in around about here somewhere, but it was around that sort of level. Is this ready to sell? Now, there had been divergences, and you could have asked the same question many times beforehand, knowing what we know about the fundamentals and the sentiment from the bigger traders. So that's a fair question. Good analysis in terms of what's gone on in the background, but when's it ready to sell? Well, the supply and demand of a currency or currency pairs, as we got here, a cross pair, is the important thing. So long as people are continuing to buy the Aussie dollar and sell the yen, then for me it's not ready to go. The time when they start actually selling the Aussie dollar, and it will be shown by price. Divergences aren't telling you that the market's being sold. In fact, you look at these divergences and they're nothing more than bull flags in the greater scheme of things, and the market's pushed up. Where the bull flag, that actually came, if we put the pivots on for a moment, it actually came back to its daily pivot and moved off of that daily pivot. So it was effectively another bull flag, and subsequently it's gone up further and further. At a stage though, and this is where you can start considering to make money, is looking at the bigger time frames, then coming down the bigger time frames, and look at what the price action is doing here. It's broken its trend. it's put a lower high in. Of course, it's put the lower high in and everything on late on a Friday, so I would watch this into Monday and see what happens. It did get a little bounce towards the end of Friday. It might still push on upwards and continue going through there. End of month and everything that was coming in on Friday might not make it the soundest of trades, so we'll see what develops. But it could be near the time to be selling near the top, and I'm not suggesting selling the top. Selling the top is moving, is being up here. Selling near the top is where the potential money is going to be made. So there's one little case study. Now let's move to the general sort of thing out there. When I very first started trading, I was told to trade the trends. Now, as I said, people trade in the tops and the bottoms and spend a lot of time doing so, using tools to I did it looking for divergences. We go off looking to get in at the best possible price. And if you look at why 80% of traders are actually losing money, if I can just bring in this little thing here, this is using FX SSI's tool. It shows you the positions held by, in this case I'm looking at IG as a broker. It's a big spread better stroke CFD trading platform, which is pretty big on the retail side of things, and it shows you their holdings of where traders are actually in, whether they're in the short positions. In this case on the euro yen, 82% a short euro yen, and if you look at the dollar Swiss, 82% a long. Now if you go and have a look at the markets, what's happening with the euro yen to start with? It's been largely pushing up. It's pretty much like any of the yen pairs. It's been pushing up. We've seen the yen being sold, and this is pushing up. Whether some of those traders now can start being right, well, perhaps like Euro Aussie, we could be seeing a change in direction. They might start being right, but how many are underwater by quite some way already? I've seen those figures for quite a few days now, pushing up high. And then we look at the dollar Swiss, and they're buying the dollar Swiss. Yes, it's having a bit of a bounce. Look at the big picture. Dollar Swiss is being sold. Why are we looking to buy the dollar Swiss when it's running like this? It's not showing too much in the way of potential. Maybe on an hourly basis it started doing something, but only at the end of the week there it started doing something. And yes, there will be a divergence across the lows there. Is it a time to buy it? Not really. Look at the state of it. However, a lot of traders are doing that. And if you ever wondered why 80% plus traders lose money trading using any of these brokers, not just IG, any broker on the retail side, this starts making it a little bit more obvious. So can you make trades selling and buying tops and bottoms? Probably not. Can you make money selling near the top, near the bottom? Possibly. You've got a better opportunity if it all fits into shape. So there we go. Hopefully you find this useful. If you have and you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribing to my channel, please subscribe and you'll get more videos like this. Okay, so take care and trade safely.